In Lesson 5, we're going to build an appointment form, very similar to the customer form that we built in the last class. We'll make a customer combo box using the combo box wizard. So we can pick a customer from a drop-down list of customers for the appointment. Then we'll learn about the command button wizard, so we can make a button to open up the form and show just appointments for the customer that we're on. So lots of cool stuff in Lesson 5. Okay, so now we have a customer table and an appointment table, and the appointment table stores the customer ID so we know which customer is assigned to that appointment. Now, let's make a form for our appointment information. This will be a little bit of a review from the first class when we made the customer form, but we're going to make a lot of forms over the course of this course. And it's something that is a skill that you really should practice. The more you do it, the better you'll get at it. And I can't stress enough. Spend a lot of times working on your forms, make them look pretty, make them look good. It's a skill you will thank me for in the long run. So, create. And then we're going to go to Form Design. The first thing we're going to do is assign this form to the appointment table. So open up the Forms properties right there. On the Data tab, find the record source. Drop that down and pick Appointment T. Now, this form is bound to the appointment table. That means it's going to get all its data from the appointment table. Okay? Now, the next thing I like to do, I like to give it a splash of color. That's the first thing I like to do. So let's make appointments, let's go orange. Okay? Yeah, we did blue for customers, so we'll use orange for appointments. I like to keep all the same stuff color-coded. Okay, so the next thing to do is add our fields onto the form. All right, under Form Design, open up the Add Existing Fields window here. And we're going to click on the appointment ID, hold the Shift key down, click on the last one, which is the Is Open field. Let the Shift key go, right? Then click and drag any one of them, drop it right about there. And there's all my fields. All right, then we'll drag them up into the corner like this. Okay. Or if you want, you can grab them all. I'll undo that. All right, grab them all like this, or you can grab them all like this using the rulers, or you can draw a box that goes around all of them, whichever one you want, and then slide them up in the corner like that. Okay. I'm going to take Is Open and slide Is Open up over here. And we got a lot of wasted space in here. Let's kind of shrink these up a little bit like that. Okay, looks good. Now the form is bigger than it needs to be, so let's grab this right edge over here, slide that in. I'll scroll down and grab that bottom and slide that up. This, we can get rid of all that extra empty space. All right, description can be bigger. So can date time. That's not going to fit in that field. Make it out to about there. Let's see what I got so far. So let's save this as my AppointmentF, my appointment form. I like to close it and then reopen it. Let's take a peek. Okay, looks good so far. Let's left align all of these fields. So let's go back to Design View. Select all of these guys on the Format tab. Hit the left align button. All right, save it, close it, open it. All right, looks much better. Okay. Now, as I said when we were doing the customer form, I like to make my primary key fields gray like that. All right, so let's go back to Design View. And I'm going to take this guy and go to Format and drop down the background color, and we're going to go with gray, like that. So people know they can't change that. I also like to change that notes field. Now, here's a trick. All right, here's the customer form. Now, if you're familiar with Word and Excel, there's a thing called a Format Painter. All right, the Format Painter, if you click on this cell, for example, this field here, go to Format, there's the Format Painter right there. Okay, if you click on the Format Painter and then click on somebody else, it copies the format. All right, so it copied that border and the yellow color and the font and all that stuff. But it doesn't work between forms. I hate that. You can't do this. You can't click on this guy, go to Format Painter, and then click on this one. It doesn't work between the different forms. Oh, well. So, first of all, let me undo this change over here. Let me undo that because I don't want that. So, Ctrl-Z, undo. Put that back the way it was. Now, I could copy this control over here and then copy its format, but look at this. I got a notes field over here and a notes field over there. It's the same field. So I can just do this. I can just delete this guy, right? And then copy this whole notes field, right? Control-C, click, Control-V, and there you go. And since the fields are both named the same thing, they're interchangeable between the two forms. That's why I like to put a description field and a notes field on most things. I don't have a description field on the customer form. That's okay. All right, but over here, like vehicles, I'll have a description and notes. Appointments, description and notes. It's just something that I like to do. And that way I can use my fields all between the different forms too. Okay, I'm done ripping stuff off from the customer form. We can close that. All right, let's close this guy, take a look at it, save changes, see what it looks like. All right, looks pretty good. Looks pretty good, and I can cycle through them and see the different appointments for my different people. Okay. Now, I promised in the last lesson that I would show you a way where we wouldn't have to remember the customer ID. Because as it is right now, if I want to put a new appointment in, I have to do the same thing that I had to do with the tables before. All right, let's say I want to find Anna Pecor and put an appointment in for her. Well, I have to go to here. I have to go to the last record, right? Hit the new button down here, the add new button. For the customer ID, I had to type in a 5. All right, and then I could put in the date and time and the description, stuff and whatever. Okay, but I don't want to have to type in that 5 or look up her record. I want to just be able to pick from a list that says Anna Pecor in it. Okay, so let's close this guy and let's design view our appointment form. Let's delete the customer ID. Goodbye. We're going to replace it with a combo box. A combo box is sometimes called a drop-down list. All right, you see them on the web all over the place. You can sometimes see them in Excel. All right, it's a box you click on, you drop it down, you scroll through all the records, and you pick one. All right, I want to pick a customer from the list of customers. So come up here in the toolbox, find that guy. It's called a combo box. Why is it called combo? It's a combination between a text box and a list box. A list box is basically an always open version of the combo box. All right, so click on that. Click right about there. And the combo box wizard starts up. Now, I'm going to spend a lot of time with this combo box wizard over the next several classes. All right, we're going to do another combo box wizard, combo box in a beginner class. And then when we get to expert, we're going to be making all kinds of combo boxes. But for today, for our relationships preview, we're going to make one simple combo box where we can pick a customer from a list of customers. So there's 3 things you can do with the combo box wizard. You can have a combo box get the values from another table or query. That's the one we want for this example, because right now we're in the appointment form, right? So I want to get the values from another table. The other table is the customer table, right? Okay, so we'll pick this one, but let's just talk about the other 2 real quick. I will type in the values that I want. That's for making a list of static options. Okay, if you're making a list of options like colors that won't change, red, blue, green, yellow, whatever. Okay, or people will use it for shipping methods, right? US Mail, UPS, FedEx, whatever. All right, and those are a list of options that almost never change. Okay, and the third option is you can use a combo box to find a record. So you can drop that box down, find a customer, and it will locate their record. We're going to cover that in a future lesson too. And I promised I wouldn't keep saying we'll cover that in a future lesson without telling you what lesson it's in. It's covered in Access Beginner 8. Okay, it's called a search combo box. I'll put a link to it in the link section down below the video there. If you want to go learn that now, it's an Access Beginner 8. I promised I'd stop saying that because in my previous versions of this class, everyone would yell at me, "Oh, you keep saying we're going to learn that in a future class." Well, yeah, I can't cover everything at once, right? Access Beginner 8 if you want to learn this guy. Okay, but I want option 1 here. We're going to get a list of values from another table or query. Hit next. Okay, which table or query should provide the values for the combo box? Where am I getting my list of customers from? The customer table. Okay, you can also get it from queries too, but we didn't build a query for this. We're just going to get it right straight from the table. Next. All right, what fields do you want included in the combo box? You always want to bring over the customer ID first. Even though we don't want to see that ID, we have to have it in the combo box so we can store that value in the appointment table. That's important. It'll be a hidden first column. Okay? Then, what do you want to bring over next? I want to bring over last name. All right, because that's what you're going to see when the box is closed. Okay? And then after that, I'll bring over a first name. So it'll be like Kirk, James, for example. And you'll see Kirk when the box is closed. If you want to open it up, you'll see last name and first name. Is there a way to put them together? Yeah, it's a little more advanced. It's called string concatenation. I do have a lesson that covers that too. I'll put a link down below. Look for string concatenation. Okay, if you want to learn how to put these together into one field. It involves a query and a little bit of magic. Again, we got to walk before we can run. But if you want to run now, I'll put a link down below. All right, next. Okay, you can sort by up to 4 fields. I'm going to sort this by last name, then by first name. So all the Smiths will come together, right? And you'll get Joe Smith, Amy Smith, whatever. Okay, next. Now, this is what the columns will look like in the box when the box is open. It says hide key column recommended. If you turn that off, there's your ID. The first visible column down here is the one you'll see when the box is closed. So we want to hide that. We don't want to see that customer ID. I don't care about that customer ID. I don't want to know what it is. I really don't care. Access needs to know it to make the relationship, but I don't care. We can resize these columns too to make them fit. All right. Sometimes last names can be a little longer. We'll go like that. Okay, looks good so far. Let's hit next. Okay, now this is the money question right here. What do you want to do with this value? Do you want to hang on to it and remember the value for later use? Or do you want to store that value in a field in the appointment table? Yeah, that's what I want to do. I want to store that value in the customer ID. We're going to pick a customer from the list of customers from the customer table. Okay, what am I picking? I'm picking a customer, so I've got a customer ID. Now I want to store that value in the customer ID of the appointment table, the foreign key. Okay, that's the whole point of this combo box. Pick a customer, store the ID, without you having to know what the ID is. Next, what label would you like for the combo box? It's just the label that goes next to it. We'll put in here customer, like that. And then finish. And there we go. There's our customer combo box. Make it a little bit wider. Right there. All right, let's see it in action. Save, close, and open up the appointment form, and there you go. Look at that. I can now see the list of customers in there, and I can pick the customer from a list instead of having to know the customer ID. See that? How nice is that? Okay, now, next thing I'm going to teach you is go into Design View, open up the properties for that combo box. This is one of my pet peeves. Whenever you create an object like that with the wizard, it comes in with a weird name like Combo 7. I don't like Combo 7. So I'm going to call this Customer Combo. Okay, there's a name property and a control source property. And we're going to go over this in a lot more detail in the expert classes. The name is what is the name of that actual text box or combo box. This guy is notes. This guy is description. Usually it's the same thing as the control source. Okay, the control source is what field in the table that data is bound to. All right, so when you change this value, where is it going to be saved in the table? If you drop that box down there, you can see all the fields in the table. Now, I like to call combo boxes customer combo, right, or vehicle combo, appointment combo, whatever. I put the word combo on it, and my reasons are a little more advanced when you get into programming. It's nice to know that you're dealing with a combo box. But just this is one of those things where just trust me, and this I really will explain later when we get into programming. Okay, hours and hours and hours from now. So just trust me. You can call it customer ID if you really, really want to. All right, and it won't hurt anything if you leave it as combo 7. It's okay. All right. Again, this is kind of like a preview of some advanced things to come. All right, so save that. Another thing I want to mention when you get to this point is this object here, this combo box that we put in the form, is not in the tab order. Okay, if I press the tab key, it jumps past it and goes to date time. Then there. Then is open is next, then notes, then it cycles back to here. Okay, the tab order is the way in which the cursor moves between the fields when you press the tab key, and you want to make your tab order nice and easy for people to use your forms. So we're going to right click, Design View. All right, right here is a thing called tab order. Now I'm going to cover tab order in a lot more detail in Access Beginner 8 as well. But I'm going to give you a preview of it now because, again, people always ask me about this. So I'm going to show you real quick how to change the tab order. All right, come down here and just click on this button that says Auto Order. Boom. It rearranges these guys left to right, top to bottom. That's all you got to do. Now hit OK, save it, close it, and then come back in here. And now when I tab, it goes over to is open next because it goes left to right. Then down there, tab, tab, tab. Then the next record over there, down, 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 down. See? That's how you fix your tab order. Everybody always asks me after beginner 2, how do I, this tab order is all messed up. Well, that's how you do it. Okay. And again, access beginner 8, lots more on the tab order. Okay. One more thing with this. Now, we've got the customers. All right, I'll move this back over here. By the way, when you move a form and save it, Ctrl-S, close it, and reopen it, it'll remember where you saved it. It'll save that position. So if I put it over here now, hit save, close it, reopen it. It should open in that spot. Only forms will do that, right? Tables, queries, even reports, they don't always save their position. Forms should save their position. Okay, the next thing I'm going to show you is how do I go from Richard Rost's customer form to open up the appointments for just him. All right, I'll move this over here and save it there. So when I open this up, now I just happen to be the first appointment. So that was just serendipitous. But if I go to, let's go to James Kirk here, for example. Where's Kirk? Come here. Kirk. All right, now I want to open up just Jim Kirk's appointments. Well, now I got to come over here and cycle through this to find, oh, I just passed it. There it is. All right, I want to click on a button to say, just show me his appointments. All right, we can do that with a command button, and there's a command button wizard. Let's go back to design view. All right, let's make some room down here at the bottom of the form. Bring this guy down like that. Find the button up here. It's called a command button, but it's just called button when you hover over it. All right, drop a button down here. The command button wizard opens. There's a whole bunch of stuff in here. And again, we're going to spend a ton of time with all these different buttons. But for today, go to Form Operations, open a form. Next, what form do you want to open? Well, we're already on the customer form. I want to open up the appointment form. Next. Now, do you want to show all of the records, or do you want to open the form and find specific data to display? Yeah, I want to find specific data. All right, hit next. Now, what is the specific data you want to find? Well, I want to find the appointments where the customer ID on the appointment form equals the customer ID on the customer form. Right? The primary key over here to the foreign key over there. Then I'm going to click this little button. Boop. See that? It matches them up. All right, that's why we got to call them the same thing too. Okay, next. Now, you want a little pretty picture on the button, or do you want to put text in there? I want to put text and change that to appointments. And then next. Give the button a meaningful name. Okay, appointment button, BTN. I like to end all my buttons in BTN. That's just my thing. That's what I do. All right, and then finish. All right, there's my appointments button. Okay, look good. All right, save it, close it. All right, so let's open up the customer form. Let's find Jim Kirk's record. Now, instead of scrolling through them, let's click here. And then I'm going to go to find. And I'm going to type in Kirk. All right, and then I'll hit find next. Oh, there he is. All right, that's a quick find. You can do find and replace. We're going to talk a lot more about find and replace later. Okay, James Kirk. Now I'll click the appointments button. Boom. And it brings me right to his appointment. And you can see it says 1 of 1 filtered. That means there are more records, but we're showing you just the ones for Kirk. Okay, who else has appointments in here? That Picor, right? Where's Anna Picor? Oh, I can't find. Let's go here. Click. Find. P-I-C-O-R-E. There's Anna Picor. All right, appointments. Boom. There's her appointment for stuff. And that's it. That's how you open up the related records in a different form. Now, you can also do something called a subform. We're going to talk about subforms in a future lesson too. Again, I'll put a link to subforms down below. But you can have a little form that's open inside of this form to show their appointments that way too. Like here's my tech help database that I have mentioned before. If you go to the customer form, all right, you can open up contacts. We're going to do contacts when we get to the expert lessons, right? Here's each time you talk to this person, it's a contact. This is a separate form. I also have a customer with contacts that's got a subform there too, so you can see all of their information in this subform. That's another way to do it. All right, and both have value. I do a little bit of this, a little bit of that. So there you go. Now you know about relationships. You know how to make an appointment table. All right, to store information about appointments. You know how to make a form and a button to open up just the appointments for that customer. Okay, and how to make a combo box to pick the customer from a list of customers. All right, there you go. That is your introduction to relationships. And again, I cannot stress enough, if this seemed confusing at all to you, don't worry about it. We're going to be doing a lot more. I spend a couple of hours on just relationship basics when we get to the expert classes, and we go over it in a lot more detail. You'll get comfortable with it by the time we're done. All right, so I hope you learned something with the relationships today. Want more? If you'd like to see me post the next lesson in the series for free here on my YouTube channel, be sure to like the video, subscribe to my channel, and post a comment saying, "I'd like the next lesson, please." Click on the link in the description below for more details on how this works.